I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I've been thinking about while I grind in Black Desert Online. I find that there's a sort of a catharsis in playing a game where it's kind of easy to sort of get stuck, kind of easy to hit a wall, whether it's a grind wall or just kind of getting confused about some sort of mechanic or some aspect of the game that you don't understand. And then going through this moment where you think, man, I'm not having fun. I don't even think I want to play this game no more. And then you sort of pause, you step away a little bit, and then you look into it a little more and you say, okay, let me think my way through this. Let me go Google it. Let me go ask some other players for help, or maybe go seek the counsel of some YouTube guides, whatever it might be. And then there's that moment of progression. And you achieve something that had felt confusing initially. And then you realize that when you sort of divide it up into small bite-sized pieces, it's not actually very confusing necessarily. You can figure it out. And it's sort of a puzzle. Learning how to play the game is itself sort of like a puzzle that is a game in and of itself, really, right? It's going through those moments of feeling stuck and then going through those moments later of being found. And isn't that kind of how redemption in life works too? We go through these dry points. We go through these moments in life when we don't feel it. We start off with starry-eyed ambitions and hopes, and then we start to realize that things aren't really what we thought that they would be. And then we start to want to give up. We start to wish we could walk away. And then we look into it a little bit more. And we realize that the path forward was there all along. And then after a period of being lost, it's more special to reach a place of harmony and redemption and discovery of something new. I think that's interesting because so often we feel that life is supposed to be handed to us. We want the easy path forward that's going to give us happily ever after at face value up front right away. And then when it doesn't, then sometimes we want to give up on life. Sometimes we get discouraged, we get frustrated, and we don't really know how to cope with the frustration of being stuck. But I think back to when I played King's Quest, Space Quest, these old adventure games quite a while ago. And I remember thinking that they were amazing games. I remember thinking the storytelling was incredible and the characters were amazing and the lore was incredible. And then when I look back over those experiences, factually, what I actually remember is that I spent almost all of my time not actually playing those games, but rather being stuck in those games, not knowing how to move forward, not knowing how to progress. And in those times, there weren't really walkthroughs. So you could be stuck for a long time and not actually figure it out. And as I play Black Desert Online lately, I realize that's kind of the experience that I've been having. A lot of boring moments, a lot of moments where I'm aware that there's lots of aspects of the game that I just don't understand at this point. Moments of being stuck, moments of feeling like the progress is not happening fast enough, and then moments of feeling like I've discovered something new for the first time, and I actually am enjoying the experience because it's slow, because it feels gated, because it feels like it's not all handed to you the minute you log in. So whether we're talking about what makes a game good, or whether we're talking about what makes life good, I really think a big part of that comes down to your perspective on what you think a good life or a good game actually is. Maybe it's not about the best design. It's not about having a frictionless experience. And we talk a lot about frictionless experiences in business today. We talk about it in retail and all of these customer-facing industries. We say that the customer should have a frictionless experience. They should just not have any barriers that are going to make them not want to complete a sale. But is that really what gives you the best experience? Is it a frictionless experience that makes me cherish a purchase that I have made? Or is it knowing what I want and then going out of my way to find it, and then eventually finding that one rare item that hasn't been on the market for a long time, and then you're walking through some antique store and you come across this old vintage antique toy or game piece or something, and you're like, wow, I didn't think that I was ever going to find this thing. But now, after years, I managed to get that. Like, that is what you remember. Not that you had this one-click purchase option and you're able to get something super quick off Amazon. So sometimes it's not the glamorous experiences. It's not the immediate experiences that offer a payoff that's swift and easy. It's things which make us slow down, things which frustrate us in the short term, and things which give us a sense of pride and accomplishment later on. Those are things which you take with you for the entirety of your life. Those are the things you tell stories about. Those are the things which, when you're in the middle of them, maybe you're not having a super great time, but when all is said and done, you wind up walking away and saying, we got a lot of amazing stories out of that, you know, just like all the hours I spent stuck in some old adventure game from the 90s. And it wasn't the best gaming experience from a design perspective, but it did create some of the best gaming memories in my life. Because it actually made me slow down and not consume all of the content at once. It's been said many times that BDO is a marathon, not a sprint. As in, you should be sort of picking your way through the game slowly, not expecting that you're going to just sit down and go from zero to hero overnight. And I have certainly found that to be true. But I also think it's interesting to point out the fact that that's also true in life. And, you know, especially as we talk about things like, you know, the crypto boom these days, all these guys are getting into wanting to get rich off of some sort of a crypto scheme or something like that, you know, like that's kind of the example, right? Or people who want to short trade GameStop or something like that. You know, isn't that sort of the sign of our times? Everything is designed to be instant gratification, short-term, quick swaps that give you that adrenaline boost immediately, quickly, and then leave you feeling empty. It's like all those people that you know on social media. Only thing is, you're never going to actually meet them. You're never going to do anything with them, and they're never going to do anything for you. But they're there, living rent-free in your head. You feel like they're real, despite the fact that the entire system is geared toward making sure that they're never actually accountable to deliver any quality return in any kind of a relationship. And then when we create an Instagram-based society where everything is supposed to be perfect, everything is supposed to be frictionless, everything is supposed to be constantly fun, everything is supposed to be delivering flawless perfection, and everything is supposed to be catered to our experience all the time, then we wind up sort of doomed to disappointment, doomed to constantly look for the next great thing, something that will satisfy the itch that we've never been able to scratch. And what we don't realize is it was never about the perfect experiences. It was about the memorable ones. So focus on not trying to find something perfect all the time. Focus on looking for things which make good memories. And focus on patience. Because whether you're gaming, whether you're grinding in real life, having a sense of patience, I think it's a very important virtue. And in a very ADHD style society that we have today, patience is a rare virtue. It's interesting how so many people say they have ADHD these days. And, I'll tell you, I have ADHD. Not diagnosed ADHD, I'm just saying I kind of do. It's hard for me to pay attention to things for a long period of time. I've noticed this. Because when I was a kid, I loved reading books. And now, it's hard for me to sit down and read a book. Why? Because it's so easy to sit there on my phone and just scroll the little clickbait things that I can read in all of 3 minutes or less. So it's hard to sit down and actually immerse myself in that 1,000-page novel. That's not a medical condition. That's a societal condition. And I think that a lot of things, spiritual things, philosophical experiences, gaming experiences, all of these interpretive experiences in our life, which give us the opportunity to maybe not see life as it is, but to see life through the lens of imagination. These things only have value if we are able to seriously contemplate them. And if we lose the ability to contemplate higher things, then as a result, we eventually get to a point where nothing really feels like it has any meaning. Nothing feels like it has any value. It's like video game monsters. Have you ever noticed how video game monsters can be designed in a way that's very frightening or horrific, and yet they can also feel boring as heck? Like, you just don't care how scary looking they are, because all you're going to do is walk up to them and spam a few hotkeys, and then they're going to die so that you can move on with your quest chain. And then maybe in a more well-designed game, you would have those moments where you have like a world boss that's incredible and you remember who he is because it's epic. And what makes that distinguishment though? Isn't it usually because the one you remember is the one that wasn't easy to one-shot kill? It's the one that whooped you and made you angry and made you have to go back to the starting zone and then made you have to focus on other side quests for a while so that you could level up your character so that eventually you could go back and win. Or you had to do some kind of like watching YouTube guides to figure it out. And it wasn't easy and it wasn't simple. Like, that's the one you remember. That's the one that you're going to be writing headcanon about for years to come. Like, I'll tell you, like, I played a lot of Elder Scrolls Online. And it's a beautiful game in many ways, but the monsters are basically brain dead easy to kill everywhere. So they're not memorable. But go into Skyrim as a new player character and go encounter your first troll and have that experience of getting yeeted out into the upper stratosphere by this troll. You will remember that. And it's the same troll, but the difficulty is different. So you would think easier is better. Easier is more fun. Frictionless experience is more marketable. But the truth is, the things which really matter are the things that we fight for. Sometimes we fight for things with a lot of frantic clicking and slashing and hacking and fighting. Sometimes we fight for them by learning patience, to think through our problems, and to try to find a way through when we don't know what to do next. Sometimes we fight by solving puzzles. Sometimes we fight by facing adversity. But both fights are important ones. And if I could say anything in favor of a life well lived, or maybe in favor of your favorite janky game of choice that's oddly memorable despite being suspiciously poorly designed sometimes, it's that perfection is not what makes something truly great. Perfection isn't what makes us love something. It's patience. Patience, and also sometimes, I would say, acceptance that a perfect life isn't necessarily comprised of only perfect things. As always, good luck on your adventure. Till next time, thanks so much for watching.